You know, every time you click, share, or post something online, you're leaving behind a trail of digital breadcrumbs. Today, we're going to talk about the most valuable thing you're leaving behind, often without even realizing it. We're talking about your identity. So let me just ask you straight up, what do you think that is? I mean, really think about it. Is it your follower count? All those photos you've saved? Maybe it's the cash in your bank account. Sure, those are all valuable, no doubt, but they're just pieces of a much, much bigger puzzle. Because the real asset, the one thing that ties all of that together, is your identity. Every single piece of data you put out there helps build a digital version of you. And protecting it? Well, that's not just some tech problem. It's about protecting your entire life. So, to really get our heads around this, here's the game plan. We'll start with the basics of your digital self, then we'll get into the risks, and finally, we'll arm you with what you need to know to fight back. Ready? All right, let's do this. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the actual building blocks of your online self. It all starts with a simple little acronym you've probably heard before, PII. So, what in the world is PII? Put simply, it's any piece of info that can be used to point a finger directly at you, and only you. It's kind of like a digital fingerprint. A single piece of data might not seem like a big deal, but when you start combining it with other pieces, you get a unique signature that's unmistakably yours. And you might be surprised by just how much stuff counts as PII. You've got the obvious ones, of course, your name, your address, your social security number, but the list is way longer than that. It also includes things you probably give out all the time, like your phone number or email, and even technical stuff you never even see, like your computer's IP address or your car's registration. If it can be traced to you, it's PII. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Not all PII is created equal. It's basically split into two groups, non-sensitive and sensitive. Think of it like this. Non-sensitive PII is like the key to your front door. You're careful with it, but if someone finds it, they still have to deal with other locks inside. But sensitive PII, well, that's the key to the safe in your bedroom. If someone gets their hands on that, they have access to everything. Let's make that crystal clear. Your date of birth? That's kind of like the front door key. It's personal, sure, but it's often out there in the public sphere. It's not great if someone knows it, but it's not the end of the world. But your social security number, your bank account info, that is the key to the safe. If that stuff gets out, the damage can be immediate and really, really bad. Okay, now that we've separated the everyday data from the super sensitive PII, let's talk about a special category that gets even more protection under the law. Let's talk about PHI. Just think about your last doctor's visit. Everything from the notes the doctor scribbled down, to your lab results, to the bill that went to your insurance, all of that is considered PHI, or protected health information. It's some of your most personal data, and that's exactly why it's guarded by a huge federal law called HIPAA. So what's the actual difference between PII and PHI? It all comes down to one little word, context. Here's the easiest way to think about it. All of your health data, your PHI, is also a form of PII, but not all PII is PHI. PII is what identifies you anywhere, banking, shopping, you name it. PHI is what identifies you specifically in a healthcare setting. And this right here just says it all perfectly. Your address is just data. But the second that same address is in a file at your doctor's office connected to your health, it completely transforms. It becomes something way more sensitive with a whole lot more legal protection. That's the power of context. And the law is incredibly specific about this. It's not just protecting your diagnoses. Nope. It lays out 18 different identifiers that, when tied to your health info, become PHI. We're talking the obvious stuff, of course, like your name and social security number, but also things you'd never think of, like your fingerprints, voice prints, and even full-face photos they have on file. Anything that can link you to your health records is protected. So, now we know what this data is and why it's so important. But what happens when it ends up in the wrong hands? This is where the digital world gets very real and, honestly, pretty dangerous. And listen, this isn't some abstract threat to a big corporation. It has a real human cost. We're talking about more than 1 million children a year in the US alone having their identities stolen. Can you just imagine being a teenager all excited to apply for your first car loan, only to find out your credit was destroyed before you even had a driver's license? It's absolutely devastating. So how does this nightmare even start? It's usually a 3-step crime.
First, the bad guys snatch your information, maybe through a clever phishing scam or by locking up a system with ransomware, or even just by slowly collecting all the little bits and pieces you've left online. Then, they package up your identity and sell it on the dark web. And finally, someone else buys it and uses it to cause chaos in your name.
And what does that actually feel like for you? Well, it means a debt collector could call you about a credit card you never even opened. It means someone could file a tax return as you and steal your refund. They could use your good name to get a job or an apartment. And in the scariest cases, it can put your actual physical safety at risk. Okay, I know that sounds terrifying because it is. But here's the good news. You are not helpless in this fight. Not at all. There are concrete things you can start doing right now to build up your defenses. So let's talk about your personal defense plan. You can build a digital shield around yourself with just 3 simple, super powerful habits. Number 1, use multi-factor authentication everywhere you possibly can. It is like adding a deadbolt to your digital front door. Number 2, treat every single email link and attachment with a healthy dose of suspicion. And 3, if you see something, say something. Reporting a sketchy email doesn't just protect you, it helps protect everyone. And please, remember this one thing. The internet never, ever forgets. Every little piece of information you share publicly, your pet's name, your mother's maiden name, your first school, all of it can be scooped up and used against you. So just think twice before you post. That data is out there for good. Of course, this isn't all on you. The companies, the hospitals, all the services that hold on to your data have a massive responsibility to protect it. So let's pull back the curtain a little and see what that organizational shield is supposed to look like. See, we tend to think about data protection like a locked file cabinet. But in today's world, your data is everywhere, all at once. It's on servers, it's flying across networks, it's living in the cloud. If there is just one weak link anywhere in that entire chain, all of your data is at risk. So how do the good organizations protect this giant, complex system? They use layers of defense. Encryption basically scrambles your data into gibberish so it's useless without a specific key. Access controls make sure that only the people who absolutely need to see your information can. And this is a huge one, staff training. This turns every employee into a human firewall, making them the first line of defense. And this is a really, really critical point to understand. Just because a company says they're compliant with a law, it does not automatically mean they are secure. Compliance is the bare minimum. It's the floor, not the ceiling. Real security is a constant, ongoing effort that goes way beyond just checking boxes on a form. So we'll end with this thought. We live in a world where your data is literally the new currency, and every time you go online, you are creating more of it. The real question is, are you in control of your own value? Or are you letting someone else turn you into the product? The choice and the power to protect yourself is more in your hands than ever before. Thanks for tuning in.